My mom started to suffocate me, pressing down on me. And then this goat man reached out, grabbed my hand into his, and began to chant, "Sign, sign, sign."
Very spooky.
3, 2, 1.
That was one of our best snaps ever.
I know. It was in sync perfectly.
And it was loud.
And it was loud.
We did good. We snap every time we start our episodes. We do it.
But we're not great
2,
snappers.
1. See, that wasn't as good.
That's not as good.
Hi.
Jamie, keep that one good snap in. We've never done a snap like that.
How proud of us are you, Jamie?
This is 2 Girls, 1 Ghost.
2 Girls, 1 Ghost. And today we are your great snapping ghostesses, Corinne and Sabrina. And we have a really spooky but fun theme today.
Yeah. Urban legends. But like I chose, the way I did it was like people's local urban legends, the ones that they're writing in about, having experienced, where they live.
I think I picked one story like that.
But we'll see where the episode
and then
takes us.
I did something you're not going to be happy about.
Classic.
But you sickos on the internet love. I'll say it once today and not more.
Has it been 24 hours?
It's been 24 hours. I'll read it. I'll read it later.
Why do you keep saying that? You keep picking stories where you have to
just
say
saying
it.
it once. Not yet.
Okay. Start off with the one that you don't say it yet.
Okay. The first one I'm going to say the word devil. Is that okay? Is that allowed?
Sure.
Daddy demon.
Okay. Well, from devil to daddy demon.
I don't know. Listen, my dad's done some shady shit. I don't know. He might know the devil.
I'm literally gripping.
You're clutching your skeleton.
I'm scared.
You're clutching your bones.
Oh, it's fine. Protect me.
Okay, this is from our listener, Risa. They gave us a pronunciation. And it's called The Devil Wants Me to Join His Club, ? Hi. I'm going to start by saying I thoroughly enjoy your podcast. I listen to it while I work. Keep doing what you're doing. My name is Risa, and this story begins with my mother's car this past November. We were in it, heading to...
We were in it.
She didn't write it like that, but I had to like course correct from how I misread.
the first part of the sentence. Okay, got it.
It said the story begins in my mother's car, but I said the story begins with my mother's car. And so then I added, we were in it.
We were in it.
Okay, we were in the car and we were heading with my Girl Scout troop to a campground. It has these large cabins that multiple troops would sadly have to share, but it was just for a weekend. This camp was about an hour or so away, so it was dark by the time we got close. And I had been recently researching the Goatman's Bridge in Texas, so you can understand my uneasiness when we crossed a very similar-looking bridge to get onto the grounds. Now, I don't live in Texas, so why was I concerned? I don't know. But, as you'll see and learn, I had reason to. So this is the type of bridge where it looks like there's an axe murderer waiting at the end. I joked to my friends saying this out loud. Hey, looks like the type of bridge where an axe murderer will be waiting for us at the end. Everyone laughed, but I felt uncomfortable, even though I made the joke. Friday went on, but then Saturday night something started to occur. The younger girls in the cabin had finished being rowdy, and I was eager to get some sleep. But I couldn't stop looking out the window next to my bunk, out at the dark woods. Not being able to sleep, I crawled off the top bunk and got into my mom's bed. And I had done this a lot when I was little, but not so much anymore. I'm sure she thought it was sweet, but I did it because I was terrified. I finally drifted off to sleep when I entered a dream. In my dream, I was on the same bed. But instead of my mom laying in bed next to me, she was standing next to the bed. My head was turned to the right, and there was a man on my friend's bunk. But this man had the head of a goat. He had long, twisted horns, glowing white eyes.
My God, you were the chosen one.
My mom climbed on top of me, and for a second I thought she was trying to protect me, but then she started to suffocate me, pressing down on me. And then this goat man reached out, grabbed my hand into his, and began to chant, "Sign, sign, sign." I woke up in a cold sweat after that. I didn't think much of it then, since I wanted to go back to sleep and I was too terrified. But then the next day I sort of realized that there is the legend that the devil has a book that he gets people to sign.
My God.
So my question is, did I sign? Did I wake up before I did? Did I join the devil's cult? I don't know. Now that could just be a bad and scary dream, or maybe I have witch blood in me. I don't know. I hope it's the second, because the spells I've been working on may actually come into use if I have witch blood. Thanks for all that you do, Risa.
Wow. I mean, very freaky. Like, I understand if it is a nightmare because it's like you're in a space that you haven't been in before. It's creepy. You're surrounded by dark woods. You're already
also
on
been
edge.
reading about Goatman's Bridge in Texas. And
Right.
the
All
legends
these things
there.
There. But also, the opposite could be true. It's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Sometimes thinking about or talking about it brings it forward.
Summons it.
Which is why I shouldn't say the next couple of words when we do the next couple stories that I have. But I mean, our whole podcast is literally talking about the paranormal and creepy things.
Right.
And I am yet to be possessed. You are yet to be possessed. At least that everyone knows. What if the demon's playing the long game?
Which one of us would they go for first?
I hope me.
Well, because you'd be receptive, like you'll do it.
And I'm doing things for the plot right now, you know?
But that's why they will go for you, because you're going to say yes.
But then when
it's a yes and year.
Yeah. Yes and possession.
Sure, I'll try anything once.
Yeah. Again, I probably want it too bad. I don't actually want to be possessed. I'll say that out loud, because let's just set intentions here.
I certainly don't.
But I would like to meet a demon.
And I won't.
Yeah. No demon's going to mess with you. Come on.
I don't have the energy to converse with them. They'll ask me a question. I'll be like, hold on, let me try to remember the English language. Like, I can't remember anything right now.
Then you start speaking in Latin.
Yeah. I only talk in song lyrics or movie references.
Or TikTok, like stims.
So literally, like, well, are you up to date on TikTok? Because if not, you're not going to get anywhere with me. Okay.
Wait, you know what I was thinking for our October Encounters episodes? We should dress up as like Salem witch trial era outfits, like Puritans.
Oh, and immediately brings me back to like, was it last year or the year before, where everyone was doing on TikTok, like people were dressing up with like the little hats, like the like Puritan Quaker, like suit fits, and then doing the little heel tap and saying witch.
Oh, I don't remember that trend. Maybe it was before.
Okay,
my
maybe
TikTok
I'll be
trend.
that version.
Yeah,
and you can be the witch.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of fun, right?
All right.
We could do that.
Now you know. We'll see if we follow through.
We'll see if we follow through. You have heard Corinne and I talk about Helix sleep before, and it is because it has been our go-to for mattresses for years. Every room in Corinne's house has a Helix mattress, including Noah's. Here's what I love about Helix Sleep. Aside from the fact that you sleep great, they have so many different models to choose from, and you can take a quiz online. It will ask you questions like, do you sleep on your back, your stomach, your side? It takes into consideration if you have a partner you sleep with, do they sleep hot or cold? And then it matches you with the mattress that's best for you, and it's shipped directly to your door. There's free shipping in the US and a 120-night sleep trial and limited lifetime warranty. So you can rest easy with seamless returns and exchanges. I was matched with the Midnight Luxe mattress, and Corinne has Moonlight and Dusk. And right now you can go to helixsleep.com/TGOG and shop the Labor Day sale and get 27% off site-wide, which is exclusive for listeners of our show. Again, that's helixsleep.com/TGOG for 27% off site-wide, exclusive for Two Girls, One Ghost listeners. Again, helixsleep.com/TGOG. Okay, this is from Skylar. It's called Urban Legends, My Energy Vampire Roommate, and The Underground Railroad. So we're getting got a lot here.
Bit of a mix. Hello, hope you're doing amazing. I started listening over a year ago, and I've been wanting to send in some stories for a while, but due to the length of some of them, I got lazy. So
we get it. Fair.
I apologize for the length of this email. You guys can call me Skylar, she, her. All the names in this email have been changed. I believe that I've always had decent intuition. My friends often ask me to meet their new significant others early in the relationship so that I can scope them out. I almost always know if I'm going to get along with someone before I even talk to them. And I usually know when I'm going to get in trouble or harm before it happens.
Interesting. I think these are great qualities to have.
Totally. I think as a child, this manifested itself as deja vu. I would have dreams about events that would happen the next day at school. I would start to anticipate what moments I would experience. This deja vu, sometimes I could even respond to questions before they were asked because of it.
Damn.
So I no longer have this intense deja vu, and honestly, I'm happy about it. But I have had a number of paranormal encounters. I had a bunch before leaving college, which I'll send those stories in a different email. But these events that I'm going to write about start my freshman year of college. I attended college in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, and was excited to meet my roommate. The circumstances of how I met my roommate are a little bit weird. I had originally planned to room with a different girl that I'd met in a chat room for our school. Did you do that?
I met my roommate at Welcome Weekend, Lexi.
Okay. I didn't even know that there was one. Like, I must have missed that
You
email.
didn't go to Welcome Weekend?
No. Like the like
chat room to meet.
the like pairing. Like, I feel like so many people met online and were chatting online.
Or got random.
And like selected each other. I had no clue that was an option or that existed.
I joined the Facebook group. It was like LMU class of 2015 Facebook group someone started. And I remember like there were like 3 people who were so chatty on it.
I did random.
It worked out.
And I loved Jenny.
Yeah.
I might be a horror story for her, though. I'm not sure.
She loved you too.
I love Jenny. Okay. I originally planned on rooming with a different girl that I met in a chat room for our school and was completely set on it. Right when I decided that I was about to delete my account and wouldn't get any more notifications, I had a feeling that I should check my newest message. It was from a girl named Rachel who had been hoping to room with me. I added her on Snapchat and thought that I would at least get a friend out of it. It was almost immediately that I decided, oh, I need to room with Rachel instead of the other girl that I originally planned to room with. Everyone around me thought that this was really odd, and I felt horrible to switch my plans on the original girl, but my gut told me that I needed to do this suddenly.
I also respect so like deeply you trusting your gut and being like, even if it's going to hurt someone else's feelings, like I have to do what's right for me because still learning that.
Yeah. Well, and also like this is a living situation.
Right. That's true.
Months later, when I arrived on campus, I was excited to finally meet Rachel, as I'd never spoken to her over the phone or really even seen her face.
Interesting.
She'd gotten to school before me, but she was not in the room when I arrived. My parents got me moved in, and when we were about to leave, she finally came into the room, and I immediately felt off.
Oh, no.
I brushed it off, though, and I chalked it up to just being nervous. Rachel and I got close as time passed, and we had a number of other people in our friend group, including teammates and dorm neighbors and random people that we met on campus. And our room quickly became the hangout room. It was always a good time. However, I noticed I started to get sick and tired all the time. It wasn't the usual sickness like a frat flu or just possible poisoning from the suspected mold in the vents. It was an illness that would be like a bad ear infection or COVID or headaches or my taste completely changing. Inability to move my jaw for weeks.
Whoa.
I felt so sick so often that I actually lost over 20 pounds without even trying.
Damn. Opposite of the freshman 15.
Yeah, I gained that without trying.
Yeah.
Jeez. Also during this time, I started to experience panic attacks. I had never experienced panic attacks before, despite having high levels of stress in high school. But again, I chalked it up to being in a new environment.
Totally. I would too. Especially if you went to a doctor and talked about all these symptoms, it would also be like that's what they would probably say.
And you're also like in a germ pool.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
college is like the version of sending kids to daycare. Like you're just going to get sick all the time.
Yeah.
I did notice that whenever I was experiencing a panic attack, my roommate was around and it would sometimes get worse, and she never attempted to help me.
Yikes.
I just thought that she was probably uncomfortable and didn't know what to do. I thought maybe these were just worse when anyone was around, but almost every time I did have an attack, my friend Jace or a familiar face on the floor would help me break out of it.
So basically anyone except for her roommate.
Yeah. My car had also started to experience a much higher rate of issues. It wasn't necessarily easy fixes either. Things like the engine breaking, my brake line literally crumbling, a number of car accidents.
Oh my gosh.
I have no idea if these issues are actually due to Rachel and her energy vampire tendencies, but I would like to blame her for them. So,
wow. Poor Rachel.
This kind of is one of those things where it's like, is it the relationship with Rachel?
Or was there something in the room?
Yeah.
Like, was Rachel also having crazy experiences? Like,
and also thinking it was her?
Yeah.
Her roommate?
Yeah.
This girl? What was her code name? Skylar?
Skylar, yeah. Or was it Rachel?
Yeah. People's bodies know.
Yeah.
But it's one thing for your body to react to being in like a bad relationship or a pairing, but like car accidents, cars breaking down, like a ton of bad luck.
It's
That's
like everything
also wild.
in her life. Yeah.
Okay, so while these things are happening to me, as a friend group, we remember that we're still, in fact, in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. We want to have fun, and probably we're going to do so in cornfields.
It's Ohio.
Cornfields can be creepy, so why not Google if there are any urban legends taking place in the local fields?
Ooh.
At first, our entire friend group would be happy to jump into someone's car at 2 a.m. and head into the dark. And this consisted of myself and Rachel and Jace and my other neighbor Cassie and my other friend Lily. We were all happy to engage in these rituals, find nothing, and then get back to our dorms around 4 a.m. only to wake up a matter of hours later for our class.
Which this energy can't be good for whatever energy is already also happening.
You're stirring the pot.
Yeah.
But you also want to have fun. Everything was going great. And also, we're one to talk. Like, you and I would
I literally said I would like to meet a demon. So, yeah.
We would leave parties having consumed alcohol and be like, let's go
ghost hunt.
Break into buildings on campus and ghost hunt.
We also were like, let's strip our clothes off and run down
We stripped one
time.
One time, but we did streak through campus. It feels like a rite of passage.
It was a short little run. We didn't go the whole.
It was a short streak.
Yeah, we went down the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyway, good times.
And if we were caught, you were the marathon runner out of the two of us, so I would have been the one getting in trouble. Okay. Myself and Cassie had gotten closer to a handful of other friends and would spend time hanging out with them, like going to empty soccer fields at night, screaming out our frustrations, playing card games in the community area on the floor, building snowmen with the guys from warm states. And it was all becoming very apparent that Rachel was not the kind of person who could be friends with the opposite sex, nor was she capable of being okay with her friends having other friends. After we started to expand our friendships, the vibes started to change. Some of the friends that Cassie, Jace, and myself had pulled into our larger group told us that they couldn't hang out with us when Rachel was there. And a few of them actually stopped talking to us altogether.
Okay, so maybe it is Rachel.
Yeah. Rachel also stopped going to the urban legend trips with us. She would complain that she needed to be in bed before midnight and that we were being childish. Truly a wild thing to say to come from a girl that didn't know that the toilet bowl cleaner was to clean a toilet bowl. So the rest of us would just go on without her and we never had any issues. We even got one of the urban legends to work. During this time, Rachel started being increasingly difficult to live with, told me that I shouldn't be that close to Cassie, tried to cut Jace and Lily off from the rest of us. My car was in the shop for a month. I was constantly sick. I even had friendship issues with my friends at home now. And to add to all of this, I was just so exhausted no matter how much sleep I did get. One night we had plans to go on one of these urban legends. It was one of the ones that we got to work in the past, and Rachel did not want us to go. There was an argument between us, and I told her that I was going to go. I would be quiet when I get back in. And this was the first time that my intuition had kicked in since the day that I moved in. One of our extended friends was the one to drive. We arrived at the spot about 45 minutes from school, did all the weird things that we needed to do to have the urban legend work, like turn off the car, honk, flash your lights, etc. Then we started our way up the road. Basically, you have to drive to the end of one road, turn onto the next, and then a singular headlight is supposed to pop up behind your car, and you're not supposed to let it catch you.
Wait, this is like the 11-mile road game.
Yeah.
So scary.
It will stay the same distance behind you no matter how fast or slow you go, except this time, right before we turned onto the second road, a cat crossed in front of the car. And this isn't strange since we're in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not normally superstitious, but I don't know, something about this gave me a bad vibe. We turned onto the second road, and I was overcome with a feeling that we were not going to make it home.
Oh, God, that's a horrifying feeling.
I was trying to explain this to the people in the car, but I couldn't get any words out. Everyone was screaming for the driver to go faster, but I keep telling them that they need to stay calm. I was uncomfortable in my seat. I was jumping around. I was looking through the windows, trying to find what was wrong. And this feeling did not subside for 45 minutes, not for the entire drive back to the dorm, or even when I did get back into my room finally.
Jeez.
Rachel, who was still awake when I got back, asked how it went. I told her I had a bad feeling, and she just kind of ignored me and went to bed.
Girl, you asked.
Yeah. I laid awake for hours because I was genuinely trying to figure out if I was alive or not, worried that if I fell asleep, I might never wake up again.
That is a horrifying feeling.
Yeah. A week or so later, we decided to go to a graveyard because there was a legend about being able to see someone in the window of the mausoleum. And this time, Rachel decided that she did want to go with us. Additionally, Lily's boyfriend joined us. I'm unsure if you've done the math, but basically, we now don't have room for all the people to fit into one car. And so we did put someone in the trunk.
Oh, no.
As soon as we find the graveyard, I have a horrible feeling. It's well past midnight at this point. Cassie drives up to the mausoleum. Part of the ritual is that you're supposed to get out of your car, walk in a circle around the mausoleum. So we start to get out of the car, including opening the trunk for Jace, who was the one who had to be there. I'm halfway to the mausoleum, and by the time that Lily and her boyfriend get out, which her boyfriend proceeds to then trip her and thinks that it's hilarious, we all stop, we yell at him. I am then hit with the most unsettling feeling that I have ever experienced. My stomach is curdling. I feel like I'm going to vomit. I'm losing feeling in my arms. I'm struggling to collect my thoughts. I finish my way around the mausoleum, and immediately I tell everyone to get back in their car and leave. I have not said this to any of them in all of our trips to the random cornfields, to the graveyards, or anything, so everyone just freezes. I repeat, we need to go, to which Lily and Cassie immediately respond. Lily pulls her boyfriend back into the car. Cassie starts it. Jace eventually starts to get moving, and I'm practically pushing Rachel back to the car. As we're driving out, we realize that right next to where we were is a crematorium, which really freaked the rest of them out. Almost as soon as we leave, a police officer pulls up. They don't stop us. I'm unsure if my uneasy feeling was just because somehow I knew the police were going to come, or I don't know. But the year finished. Cassie, Jace, Rachel, myself, and a different person named Dylan all moved together into a house off campus for our sophomore year.
Rachel came too?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Also from Rachel's perspective, like,
I know, Rachel
you're
doesn't
living
seem to be enjoying
with someone who's constantly sick, having panic attacks, inviting everyone into your room all the time.
And you say that you want to go to bed early, that you don't want to go do all these adventures.
And they're constantly getting in super late.
Interesting. Who knows?
You guys might both be each other's horror stories. It's hard to like find someone who you match living with.
Definitely.
For every second of every day.
Yes. In a small space.
Yeah. Okay. So the house we moved into was rumored to be a part of the Underground Railroad. The town that we were in was on the path, but in addition to this, the house had lights on all sides of the house and included a small concrete room in the basement that was only found through a small passageway inside of a closet.
Sick. I need to know this what town this is and all the specifics of the urban legend, because this town feels fictional based on how much is going on here.
Ohio, man.
And who would have thought? In frickin' Ohio.
From the start of us living in this house, my sickness, low energy, car problems, and stress got so much worse. I'm unsure if the lore of the house aided in this or if it was because Dylan was a bit of an energy headache in addition to Rachel right now.
The combo.
I was diagnosed with POTS while I was living here. Okay, well, that might make sense for a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
But the energy in the house was awful. And Rachel was having issues with all of us. Dylan had issues with Rachel and Jace. Jace has issues with Dylan now. Cassie and I have issues with Rachel. Essentially, it was a mess because everyone's being like
drama
pegged against each other here. It was also possible that the house was haunted. Cassie, Dylan, and myself all had rooms on the second floor, and we would hear footsteps up and down the stairs, footsteps in the hallway, throats being cleared. We'd see the bathroom light turn on. And Rachel and Jace never came upstairs without making their presence known, so we knew that it couldn't be them.
I also just feel like this whole group has done so much in just 1 year of college. So many paranormal adventures. Mm-hmm. They're tempting fate a lot. Like, it's very possible
like
they are
no rituals
haunted.
To like, close it out or cleanse their space or something. And if one of them's like scared, like if Rachel is like, oh, I don't want to go.
Right.
It doesn't stop they're all just still bringing the energy all over the place.
Is pretty chaotic here.
Yeah. Seems like everyone's getting afflicted here. We affectionately named the ghost Bernie and welcomed him home. Now, at this point in time, Rachel would come into my room. She'd wake me up. She'd tell me that I'm a bad friend because I didn't go to the store with her while I was sick, and then told me that I didn't deserve any accomplishments or achievements that I had.
Okay, Rachel, girl, chill.
This is so weird. This also, for some reason, is giving me like Amityville horror vibes.
Yeah, everyone's become like the worst version of themselves.
Yes. This was also the first and only time that I had a lucid dream. It involved me and Rachel in my room, me asking for the time and realizing that it was a dream. Jace, Cassie, and Lily had walked into my room in this dream, and all four of them told me that I wasn't supposed to acknowledge that I was sleeping. I thought I woke up, went into the bathroom, and ran into Cassie, Dylan, and Rachel and told them about my dream. They looked at each other, and that is when I realized I'm actually still dreaming. This is the watered-down version because I genuinely get goosebumps every time I talk about it. It makes me feel so uneasy, but my dreams tend to be very detailed and strange. But this was something different. And then in late winter, the friendship between Rachel and the rest of us finally ended despite us all living together. She moved in with a new group of friends, and almost immediately, I stopped having panic attacks. I felt way less sick. The next year, Cassie, Lily, and I lived together, and my POTS symptoms were way less. I didn't have panic attacks. My car had no issues. My dreams weren't
Wild.
unsettling, and I actually had energy to go out and do things with friends and to participate in extracurriculars. Now, years later, I'm in grad school, and the house we lived in sophomore year has been torn down. Cassie, Lily, Jason, and I, we're all still friends. We have no idea what's going on with Rachel, but I do know she's no longer friends with the people that she moved in with after us.
Interesting.
I have never investigated any urban legends after my experience in the graveyard, but maybe I should give it another shot since Rachel isn't here anymore. Thanks, Skylar.
Wow.
Kind of a nightmarish experience all around because friendships and relationships, especially when you're a young adult, really you're still a teenager. You got teen
Yeah. You're young.
at the end of your age. It's horrible. And I feel like things can like bubble up really quickly, and all of the anxiety and just like the anticipation of being around someone that you're not getting along with like makes everything worse.
Well, it's also just so interesting that it started with Skylar having a roommate already picked out that they met. And then just like one small interaction with Rachel made her just change everything.
Yeah, that's what's weird.
Maybe the purpose of it wasn't about Rachel, but it was about meeting these other friends that Skylar is still to this day friends with. But it's just such a weird thing to have such an intense gut instinct of like, I need to be roommates with this person. And then for that person to have such an impact on your life.
Right.
In almost a negative way.
In a very negative way. And I'm curious too, like if she ended up being friends with the girl that she was originally supposed to roommate with.
I know, good question. Or are they never friends because the drama?
The drama.
I don't
Or
know.
she was just like, oh, this is weird vibes.
I don't know. We have questions. I also really want to know all these urban legends and the location of this college.
Yeah. But like I agree with what you said, where it's like this group is like things are getting exacerbated because they're doing so much.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like they're doing it with much protection.
No, you're just freewheeling it.
It's just like a fun college thing to do.
Fuck around and find out.
It's a fuck around and find out.
Yes. OneSkin is nothing like your typical skincare brand, which is why Corinne and I keep coming back to them. It's why our moms, when they stole our product to use it and try it out, have now become full-on users of OneSkin. Most anti-aging skincare is built to react to aging, whereas OneSkin works to address how skin ages in the first place. It was founded by 4 PhD longevity scientists who studied skin at the cellular level and engineered OS1, their proprietary peptide. OS1 is the foundation of every product they make. And so over time with their products, you see firmer, smoother skin, more even tone and radiance, and visibly fewer fine lines. I've been using OneSkin now for a couple of years, and anytime they release a new product, like they have an SPF lotion that now I wear every morning, it is a staple in my routine. Born from over 10 years of longevity research, OneSkin is helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code TGOG at oneskin.co/TGOG. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code TGOG. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. All right. As promised, I will only say the word once.
Okay.
But I have 2 stories about the same entity, known as a skinwalker. We will...
Or what the internet has decided to call them, flesh pedestrian.
Or SW. We'll call them flesh pedestrians.
Okay.
So this is an encounter while camping in British Columbia, Canada, from our listener, Taylor. Hello, Sabrina and Corinne. My name is Taylor, and I've been a listener for your podcast for about a year now. And I've been wanting to share some stories with you for a while, but I didn't know which one to pick. So here's the scariest and most recent. I grew up in Chilliwack, British Columbia, Canada, and I've heard about and have had my own fair share of strange and unexplainable stories. We have a very strong Indigenous community in and around Chilliwack, and many of their very old stories tell of monsters and beasts in the vast mountain ranges which surround our beloved valley. And I've always been skeptical about the tales of Sasquatch and shapeshifters, SWs, but last summer, that completely changed.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is an urban legend that we take very seriously. It was August of 2025. My friends and I were freshly graduated from high school, and we had planned a short camping trip before we all left for university. We drove about an hour and a half deep into the woods on an old logging road that I had grown up on, far from any town or people. Throughout the day, as everyone arrived, we set up our campsite in a clearing which overlooks the Chilliwack River Valley, where the mountains reach far up into the sky and where phone service fades away. We had a relaxing afternoon and evening, and the sun was hot on our skin as we put up our tents and organized our dinners on a small campfire. As the sun set in a glowing pink sky, a bright full moon began to illuminate the woods and the mountains around us. That and our small fire being our only light. Peaceful, right? After dinner, we played a couple drinking games for hours, sitting around the fire, truth or dare, going late into the night. And it must have been around 1 or 2 in the morning when I dared my friend, M, to walk into the woods for about 60 seconds with no light before coming back. I knew she would say no because she was an easily spooked person, so I was just trying to get her to drink. But she immediately turned the dare on me, and being stubborn, I of course did it. I got up out of my camping chair very clumsily because I had had quite a few drinks, and I told my friends I would see them in a minute and walk straight into the woods. And I am aware that this is dumb and it's not smart to do as a young, small female, but I did it. And luckily I knew where there was a bit of trail and I knew where I was going because this is where my dad and I would hike down to the river to go fishing for salmon every fall. I didn't set a timer. I just walked into the forest until I got to the edge of a hill where the trees cleared and I could see the mountains looming over the thousands of stars in the sky. And then I was like, you know what? While I'm here, I'll take a quick scenic pee under the bright full moon. And once I finished, I pulled my pants back up and started to head back. Now, under the trees, it was incredibly dark, like the kind of dark where I'm guessing where to step, hoping I knew the trail well enough. There was no way I was going to use a flashlight and ruin the dare. Plus, I was not afraid. I grew up in these woods and my nerves were eased as I was very much under the influence. However, on my way back, that peace started to change. And I started to get that feeling. The one where sudden dread melts through your skin, where you can feel a million eyes on you everywhere and the hairs on the back of your neck start to stand up. And then I noticed it was dead quiet. The bugs had stopped chirping. There was no wind. I immediately sobered up, picking up on my intuition that something was in fact very, very wrong. My pace quickened, but I didn't dare to run because that would make my fear way too real. But now, with the help of the moon and a small break in the canopy of branches, I could see the end of trail and the glow of the fire past the tree line. And then I heard someone shouting. It was my friend A calling my name out into the woods in a very worried tone. I figured she was concerned because I had been gone longer than 60 seconds, and she stresses. She's the mom of the group. When I heard her, I felt instant relief. I was back. I was out of the woods. So I ran up to her smiling. But before I could say anything, she asked, "Was that you?"
What? No.
And she sounded terrified. I looked around.
And also to know that you were like something's going on and you were just alone in the woods too.
I looked around at the others and saw most of the group had been backed up to their vehicles, keys in hand, terrified. 2 of the guys had flashlights and bear spray aimed into the trees and bushes just to the left of the trail where I had just come out of. It was so clear they had such real looks of fear in their eyes. It made my stomach want to fall out of my ass. I hoped it was just a wild animal. But immediately, I knew that they had seen or heard something. And whatever it was, it definitely was not me.
Holy crap.
The 2 guys who were looking into the woods with flashlights, K and E, explained to me that while they were sitting down, they were facing the space behind the fire where the clearing went into the trees and the view over the valley was. Everyone else had their backs to that area or just weren't paying attention. While I was gone, K and E watched a pale figure emerge from the trees on the right side of the campsite. It was just far enough away that the dim firelight couldn't reach it, but the moon was lighting up its silhouette. They described it to be about the size of a large white dog walking on all 4s. But instead of walking, it appeared to be gliding, and it definitely was not dog-shaped. It came towards the group at an angle, staring right at everyone. When K and E saw it, they both stood up instinctively at the same time, instantly on high alert, focusing so hard on it without saying a word. As they stood up, this thing turned and walked or hovered across the rest of the clearing and then silently disappeared into the forest right into the area that I was in.
Oh my God.
And this happened a few minutes before I ever made it back to the campsite. They hoped it was me somehow trying to scare them, but when I confirmed it was not me, everyone wanted to leave. K and E then started to tell everyone, no, it was just a joke. We didn't actually see anything. But we all feel like they were just trying to cover it, to try to pretend it wasn't a big deal. And at that time, me and Kay were dating. And later that night, we were still awake in his tent talking about ghost stories and the paranormal. And this is after everyone else had gone to bed. As we're talking, a bear came into our campsite trying to get into our cars where the food was. So we left the tent and chased it super far down the logging road. Also, what?
What is happening on this trip?
We were experiencing the outdoors, and we had both already chased off that same bear, or we think was the same bear, earlier that day. On our walk back to the tent, Kay asked me to promise to keep something to myself until the trip was over. Kay told me that he and E were not joking about what they saw earlier that night. They told us that they were messing with us because everyone was so scared and wanted to leave, and they didn't want to end the trip early. But they were both terrified, and they absolutely saw what they saw. They knew it was real. Safe to say, me and Kay slept cozily with our bear spray and pocket knives at our sides. We ended up staying for the rest of the trip, and nothing else happened. Although I do think I may have astral projected. Nothing else happened. So
This is like the wildest, like both paranormal and real life danger event.
I know.
Should you be in the woods?
Oh, my ice melted. I'm on edge. So the second night, me and Kay were up late again, and we heard what sounded like a massive tree being thrown in the woods not too far from us. When we went to go inspect, we couldn't find anything. But Kay has this huge Bigfoot obsession, so we blamed it on the local Sasquatch.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So not only did you see a flesh pedestrian or some of the members of your group, but there's also a Bigfoot.
Yeah. It was probably just a large tree falling, but it's more fun to think it was Bigfoot throwing a tantrum.
Or there's just like a weird portal in the woods here.
I mean, there for sure is.
Yeah.
Me and Kay are very close, and we're both intrigued by the paranormal world, talking about it together all the time and sharing our theories. He grew up in remote Alberta, where he had something with a white face running alongside his car on the highway. He also once fell into a trance and woke up in the forest 3 hours later.
Excuse me?
And even had something mimicking his voice in the woods. We need all of those
Okay, well, it
stories.
sounds like this is the person to blame for everything
For
that happened that
all
night.
of the encounters. He is very in tune with spiritual encounters and takes the subject very, very seriously and is not the type of person to lie about it. Even when he talks about his experiences, he gets visible goosebumps.
Wow.
So yeah, I fully believe that he and E had experienced something. They saw something that they weren't supposed to. It's just too weird that I wasn't afraid walking through the woods until what they saw joined me in there. Because it, like timing wise, when like everything went silent in the woods was the same time that entity probably went back into the woods. To be clear, there was maybe a 7-foot stretch of woods between a steep hill and the trail that I was on. And that is where the thing disappeared. Whatever they saw me, and was probably close enough to reach out and touch me, and I had no idea it was there. Kay and I talked about the encounter a few months later, and the best way he could describe what he saw that night was a very tall, thin, naked human walking smoothly on all fours like a gorilla. I asked if it was possible it was a deer or a bobcat that had lost its hair, but he said the way it moved and its build was nothing like any other animal he's ever seen before. He still has trouble explaining how it walked because he basically says it wasn't walking. It was floating. Whatever it was unnatural. After this, I'm never ignoring my intuition in the future because when the forest goes all quiet, you know something's up.
Yeah.
Chilliwack is a 30-minute drive from the Harrison area you guys talked about in one of your Bigfoot episodes a while back, and I've spent a lot of time in this area. I've heard stories about shapeshifters in Harrison Lake and have had friends see something similar to what Kay and E saw coming out of the water in that area.
Are you?
So you guys should do a deep dive on that area. It's famous for Sasquatch, but clearly a lot more as well.
Yeah, we need to. What's this place called again?
Harrison Lake in Canada. Are you?
I'm just gonna straight up add it.
Ooh, lots of local legends. The lake monster.
All right. Well, I've put it in our.
You got to do it. Ooh, haunted hotels
tracker.
too. But yeah, thank you for reading Stay Stylish and Spooky, Taylor.
Dang, I don't even know what to say. There's so much here.
It's horrifying.
And it's like, oh, and maybe they saw this, maybe they didn't, but then they said they didn't. But then also this other person's been plagued for years being followed by this weird stuff in Canada. And also there's something creepy in the lake that just looks exactly like this.
Well, also keep in mind, Kay, like this whole group had been sitting around the campfire for hours drinking, playing drinking games, playing like you can't safely get back into your car and drive out of the woods at like 3 a.m. after drinking.
No.
And so the only way to really make it through the night is for Kay and E to be like, we were just joking, you guys, it's okay. Don't worry. We can all sleep. We're safe. But then
and while I never
internally,
condone anyone trying, I do feel like sometimes there's a certain level of fear that the adrenaline sobers you up so quick too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if there's a murderer, get in your car and fucking drive.
Or drive over the murderer.
Murder the murderer.
Murder the murderer.
We
cancels out. It equals 0. 0 murders if you murder a murderer.
How to Get Away with Murder from 2 Girls, 1 Ghost.
My gosh. Okay. Well, that is horrifying. I will never go there.
But you will research it.
But I will research it. And I like knowing that it exists because, like, I don't know. What if someday someone's like, oh.
You want to go to Harrison Lake?
Yeah.
And you're like,
No.
let me look at the 2 Girls, One Ghost Excel real quick and double check if we've ever covered it.
Well, that honestly, that's probably what we should start doing before
I
we
know.
plan things. Look in our inbox.
Oh,
Does anyone have any horrifying tales from here?
Something Corinne and I talk about a lot is that OCD is a serious and highly misunderstood condition, one that Corinne has and over the years has sought therapy to help manage and understand what it is and how it impacts her. Because OCD has many different symptoms. It can focus on anything and often targets the things that we care most about, which I know Corinne struggled with a lot after she first had Noah, her first kid. She got stuck in these really, really difficult thought patterns. But with the right kind of help from a specialized therapist who truly understands what you're experiencing and is trained to treat it, OCD is extremely manageable. And that's why we love NOCD. At NOCD, every therapist deeply understands OCD. And NOCD accepts most major insurance plans and is covered for over 155 million Americans. NOCD also makes sure you're supported between sessions. They have powerful in-app tools. So if you're ready to start getting help from a therapist who truly understands OCD, visit nocd.com to book a free call. That's nocd.com.
Okay, I have a story from Marcus. Hiya, brand new listener, maybe about a month.
Love it. Hi, Marcus.
Hi, Marcus. We're also going to the Midwest area. Is Ohio the Midwest?
Yeah, I think it qualifies as Midwest.
Or is it
Ohio starts the Midwest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I live in a very old farmhouse in Iowa, like so old that there's a coal chute in the driveway and a boarded up coal room in the basement. My very first time,
cool.
So cool. My very first time in the house, I ran up to see my room. I was 9. It was the first time I had my own room ever. And I'm searching for a light switch in the hallway. And this place is old. So the light switches were 2 buttons that you push in.
Cool.
That honestly seems fancier than a modern light switch. I'm almost like,
Everything
that seems
that's
like an
old.
upgrade.
Yeah. Everything that's old feels new now.
All of a sudden, the lights came on and the switch was on the opposite wall. Other times, I hear the washer and dryer going on in the basement, and as soon as I'd open the basement door, the noise would stop, and there would be no laundry in. My last story from that house, we always kept a spare bed in my room because we would sometimes take in foster kids. Multiple times, I'd fall asleep in my bed and wake up in the spare bed, but with my pillow and blanket on top of the made bed.
Wait, what?
So it's like if Marcus was sleepwalking, it's like he gets out of bed, makes his bed perfectly, and then goes and lays on a bare mattress.
Interesting.
Or something is removing him,
making the bed and placing him there.
Yes.
Either way, creepy.
Okay, my second story is about something that I think I saw when I was about 17 at the time. A dogman or a werewolf? Anyway, I was driving home from work at a grocery store. We lived in a different house out in the country, and my drive home from work was about 15 minutes. As I got a mile away from home, along the tree line, I saw 2 glowing red eyes at about the height of a very tall man. I thought, okay, well, that's weird, but whatever. I'm coming to a stop sign, and then I see the eyes are keeping pace with me. But now they're on all 4s. I was going 60 miles an hour before starting to slow to a stop. And as I started to slow, the creature, which was darker than the outside darkness, leapt over my car. And believe me, it was dark out. It was like 10:30 p.m. It was February. What? I pull the California stop, or the California roll is what we call it over here. And then I turn left. I drive a quarter of a mile and then turn right onto a gravel road, which was the road that I lived on. Then I noticed that the creature is back on the right side of my car again, keeping pace.
Oh, no.
I turn into my driveway. I'm white knuckling my steering wheel. And my horse, Mikey, is going nuts.
Not Mikey.
Mikey! He starts running top speed around his night enclosure. He's a retired racehorse, so he's pretty dang fast. He's stomping, he's snorting. I park, I'm sweating, I'm scared. And then Mikey just relaxes. I get scared he might be hurt, so I grab a machete and a collapsible baton out of my back seat. Oh, those are just in your back seat.
Casual.
He parked at the grocery store where he works and just keeps in his back seat. Oh my God.
Well, if you're dealing with these creepy cryptids in the street, you need this.
You need
you need something.
And I go to check on Mikey. He's spooked, but he calms even more once he sees me. He's totally fine, so I run inside. I grab him an apple and some sugar cubes.
Oh, cute.
And I finally end up sleeping for just a couple of hours. The next morning, we see the fence of Mikey's enclosure. It is ripped open from the outside, like something was clawing its way into the yard.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure my retired racehorse saved my life and scared away a cryptid.
I would honestly, after that night, have Mikey be sleeping in the house with me.
Yes.
Like Mikey,
your outdoor night enclosure is now indoors in my bed.
Yeah. We're sleeping together.
You're in my room now,
You're
buddy.
a house pet now.
Yeah. A giant retired racehorse, indoor pet, lap horse. Finally, my last story is about the Black Angel in Oakland Cemetery in Iowa City.
We've read stories about this recently, and I think we covered it.
I think I did a Spooky Graves episode that included this.
Yes.
And we definitely recently read something from this. Anyway, in high school, I was 18. The Black Angel was a popular place to visit for all of us pot-smoking, drinking teenagers. And almost all of my friends were very respectful and even left coins and cool rocks. Anything
nice.
We deemed a proper tribute. One night, I found myself out there and another group of teenagers had showed up. Lo and behold, one of the guys is my buddy M, who I met at Vacation Bible School years ago. Our parents made us go to the same church, but neither of us really liked church at all. But M is drunk as hell. Despite everyone trying to stop him, he decided to piss on the Black Angel.
Oh.
And this is not an urban legend. I witnessed this happen. 2 days later, M was in a fatal car accident. For no reason that is known, he veered off the road into a telephone pole. He wasn't able to get his seatbelt off, and he burned to death in the crash.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's horrifying.
Love you, ladies. See you on the other side, Marcus.
Marcus. Geez, that's not at all where I thought this was going to go.
No.
Well, I just looked it up. We covered it in episode 323. You were right. It was your Haunting Tombstones episode.
Because that was like one of the problems was like teenagers climbing it or peeing on it or like doing things like that.
And then tragic things happening.
I don't remember what happens after, but I just remember vandalism being an issue.
Yikes. Okay, well, lots of horrors here. Sad tragedies. And then also, what is this creature? And like, is this a common sighting where you live?
And it keeping speed the whole time too.
And jumping over your car?
And then Marcus thought he was safe. Like jumps over the car. You don't see it anymore. You're like, cool.
Pop.
Start to head home. And then it's like you're on your road. Your like dirt driveway. Your gravel driveway. And it's right there. Right
well,
outside
then how do
your
you
window.
ever get out of your car? Even if your horse has calmed down, I would not want to get out of my car again. Because you just
Marcus
saw
felt
it.
safe enough with his machete.
So scary.
But also like, I don't know that I'd feel safe enough with a machete with something that can go 60 miles an hour next to my car and leap over the car. Like, what do you even, how fast do horses run? Could Mikey outrun it? Well, we don't know if that was top speed.
But
for
we
the
also
creature.
don't know the cryptid.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard to get better about making meals at home, but sometimes that can be really overwhelming. It's like, what do I cook? What groceries do I get? And that is why I love Hungryroot. Hungryroot is the only food service that handles everything. So they take care of meal planning, shopping, and delivery. And Hungryroot screens out over 200 additives like high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, and preservatives. And all of their meat and seafood is high quality with no hormones or antibiotics. And what I really love is you can put in like your food restrictions or dietary preferences. And Hungryroot will send you recipes each week with the groceries. Their snacks are also amazing. Don't get Corinne and I started on the chickpea cookie dough. Oh, it's so good. So you are going to love Hungryroot as much as we do. For a limited time, you can get 40% off your first order, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/TGOG and use code TGOG. That's hungryroot.com/TGOG to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. All right. Well, I have one more to end us on. Again, about the entity who should not be named, Flesh Pedestrian, and the ranch itself.
No way.
This is one of the most unusual emails we've ever gotten in the sense that it's a team that does experiments around this ranch.
Like that's their whole...
So I'll give you the little blurb, and then they sent one of like the leaders of the organization's experiences, and that's what I'll read, but I'll read the blurb first. Okay. Dear Two Girls, One Ghost, I'm reaching out because your show is one of the few that actually explores the real intersection of high strangeness and experienced paranormal supernatural phenomena. Attached are submission documents regarding my team's work at Umbra Viventis Lucius, of course.
Ooh, this feels so official.
Latin.
I feel like we're getting inducted into some like high society of the paranormal right now.
100%.
Did
This
we
is
make it?
private land directly overlooking the ranch where we've been running safe, legal, tech-augmented vision quests and contact experiences for over 5 years.
Oh, I just got chills. That is
We've
so freaking
hosted
cool.
hundreds of guests with 0 negative experiences from participants reported. These include direct dialogues with shadow figures, luminous orbs, and the intelligences that live on the ranch.
I want to know if they've ever done a CE5 event out
We've
there.
done everything from God helmet to legal psilocybin work.
I don't even know what those things are.
And they've also collaborated with the Monroe Institute, which is Gateway Tapes. Yeah. The exact nexus where the psychedelic renaissance and the UFO disclosure moment are colliding in real time, with the two connecting at the realization that connective tissue of the two is consciousness exploration. So they for sure have done a CE5 event.
Yes.
We're already doing the work, boots on the ground in the most supernatural place on earth.
Dang.
We would love to share with you and your listeners and community some of the nothing short of miraculous findings of engaging in these pursuits over the last few years. In the attached, you'll find the overview of the project as well as personal accounts from our project collaborator, Anne, who is interested and available to speak directly with your team, but I'm just going to read her experiences. They have audio clips, examples of interviews and coverage, and so much more. So if you guys are interested, you can look up this company too. But
I'm gonna, as you read Anne's testimony,
you go to the website and it's Visionary Experiences in Sacred Lands. And they have retreats that you could go on.
I'm on that tab now. I'm looking.
Okay.
From May through October, weather permitting.
So these are the stories and experiences from Anne. Overall, my experiences next to Flesh Pedestrian Ranch spanned a wide range of phenomena. Interactions with UFOs, UAPs, engagement via psionics, missing time, shadow beings, cryptids, and much, much more. The following are just 2 examples of those interactions. In 2023, I spent 8 months living in Utah's Uinta Basin, a place that feels like it's caught between real world and something else entirely. My boyfriend at the time, who's now just a friend, Ray, has 15 acres of land sitting right next to Flesh Pedestrian Ranch. These desert badlands have been one of the most scientifically studied paranormal hotspots in the world for many decades, both through government-funded programs and private investigations. Researchers have documented everything from UFO sightings and cryptid creatures to time anomalies and ghostly apparitions. The phenomena here are slippery, often described as trickster-like, mischievous, deceptive, and always one step ahead. Locals and researchers alike talk of voices with no source, shadows that run through the night, and entities that seem to toy with your perception, testing your instincts. It's as if the land itself plays games, daring you to question what's real. One of my first encounters happened on a warm spring day, not long after my then boyfriend Ray and I arrived from our apartment in the next town over. We were there that day to continue working on various projects across the property for Ray's project, Umbra Viventus Lucius. We have groups out to skywatch and commune with the energies in that space using various modalities for expanding one's consciousness. And this day, the sky was a perfect blue. There was no wind, and I was standing on a hill just taking in the beauty of the scenery around me, when all of a sudden a woman's voice cut through the silence, yelling, "Help!" It was from the direction of a small pond and a cluster of trees nearby. Ray and I were supposed to be the only ones on this land.
Ooh.
So my guard went up instantly. I froze, listening, and a few moments later, the voice came again. "Help! Help!" More urgently this time. This voice was entirely out of place, and there was just something about it that didn't sound quite right. Like it was too flat, and the words were drawn out too long, almost like a recording that's been slowed down. Knowing the lore of the basin, where things aren't always as they seem, I didn't rush towards the sound, because the stories of this ranch and its trickster phenomena, like voices mimicking distress to lure people into danger, flashed through my mind. And I was not about to fall for it. Instead, I yelled back, "Yeah, that's not going to work on me." And the yelling stopped abruptly. But then something worse started. A child's voice began calling out, "Mom, Mom," over and over, in the same flat, drawn-out tone, just now in a higher pitch. My skin prickled, but I forced myself to stay calm. Whatever was out there, I knew it was not a child and probably wasn't even human. It felt like a test, like something was trying to bait me into running toward that pond. So I waited, heart pounding, as the calls continued sporadically for about 30 seconds. I was hoping that they would just stop. And then finally I yelled back, "I've already helped 2 kids make it to adulthood. You are on your own, buddy." I don't know why that's what came out of my mouth, because my kids were still teenagers at the time, but the moment the words left my mouth, the air went silent, and whatever it was did not call out again.
But also, she engaged it.
I
She
know.
recognized it. She engaged it.
But would it have ever stopped? I don't know.
See something, no, you don't. Hear something, no, you didn't. What happened to those rules?
I don't know.
Just because we're not in Appalachia, they no longer apply.
Whatever it was, it didn't call out again, and I didn't go looking to see what was hiding in those trees. Okay, but a couple months later in June, another incident shook me to my core. Ray and I were setting up for a night of stargazing with a campfire already crackling. It was around 6 p.m. or 6:30. Either way, it was still light out, and it was just the two of us. We had been temporarily leasing space on a neighboring property that had a trailer, and sometimes we would stay in it. I was walking over there to grab some supplies for the evening, and as I stepped through a break in the fence where the two properties met, I noticed there was someone standing by a tree on the neighbor's side of the property. It was a man, about 6 feet tall, dressed in jeans and a white tank top. Now, at first, I wasn't alarmed because people often do stop along this road hoping to catch a glimpse of the ranch. Like, I think that's actually a big issue here is that people like break onto the property.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured he had seen the campfire smoke and wandered over for a closer look. And yeah, occasionally we would invite curious folks onto the property if they seemed cool. So I was about to call out, hey, but before the word fully left my mouth, something impossible happened. In a single moment, that man transformed into a deer. 1 second, there was a human figure standing there, and the next, a deer was staring back at me. There was no shifting of faces or limbs. It was just a man, then suddenly it was a deer, and I was stunned, frozen in place, my brain truly struggling to process what the hell I had just seen. This deer held my gaze for a few seconds before bolting across the property. I could hear its hooves pounding on the ground as it ran up a small slope, and then it paused. I whipped my head back to where the man had been standing. Nothing. He was gone. I turned back to the deer, expecting to still see it there on the slope, but nope, it was gone. No more sounds, no rustle of bush, nothing. It was just gone in a blink of an eye. The next day, I told the story to the property owner where we had been renting that trailer, and he had motion-activated cameras set up in the area. So he went to check the footage from the time of the incident. He called me back later, confirming the cameras had been triggered exactly when I said the event had happened. And in the sequence that matched the path the deer man had taken, but here's the kicker. The footage showed nothing. So there was a trigger, as if the cameras picked up motion, but on the camera, there was nothing. No footage that showed anything. No man, no deer, no movement at all.
Mm-hmm.
The property owner was familiar with the phenomena, and it wasn't surprising. To all of us, it's just validation. Because the trickster-like entities of this basin don't always play by the rules of cameras or logic. They show you what they want you to see and then vanish without a trace. So yeah, living next to the ranch, I've learned quickly that the land doesn't just hold secrets, it plays with them. Those experiences, the voice and the deer man, have left me with a mix of awe and unease. They were reminders that you need a basin, you're never really alone. And whatever's out there is always watching, waiting to see if you'll take the bait.
I mean, I was going to say, it sounds like she's had so many experiences, but it makes sense because she's involved in this, spends
so much time there.
A ton of time.
Yeah.
But like, how scary to have so many close encounters.
This is from Anne and Ray, and they host retreats. So
yeah, I was going through a bunch of, because their website, there's a too long don't read tab. And so I read through that. It's basically like you don't have to participate in the psychedelic trip experience, but you can. But they made it very clear you cannot bring your own drugs.
Smart. At least they're having some control.
Mm-hmm. And that they're not interested in reality TV shows asking them to participate in anything unless it's Nathan Fielder.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Well, apparently they're interested in us too because they emailed us.
How wild though for them. I'm so curious. Like, I mean, a lot of the SW Ranch thing, the focus is on the flesh pedestrians, but I'm very curious about knowing that they're just trying to like study the whole thing.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of like UFO stuff that happens in the area too. I'm interested in the alien piece.
Maybe this is where we go for our CE5 event. We team up.
We go out.
The team at Umbra Viventus Lucius, which I'm curious, what does that mean?
Well, maybe we'll go out to the desert. We'll see for ourselves.
I don't know. That area kind of scares me.
I know.
I feel like I might draw a line there. Like, I'd rather go to Area 51.
I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't actually, there's so many places, like so many ghost hunters and different like documentary makers or whatever who want to go here because it's like spooky and scary.
Yeah.
I feel like we can get a lot of the same activity somewhere that feels less like,
I feel like I need to respect that area more. Mm-hmm. Like, respect all areas, don't get me wrong, but there's something like ancient and beyond what I should ever, as a human little plebe, experience. Whereas an area where the government is for sure experimenting or got alien stuff going on, I feel a little bit more like, yeah, I can push the boundaries here. I can test.
You say got aliens, it reminds me of like got milk, and I was
Got
just
aliens?
picturing us like on the road, the like desolate dirt road on the way to Area 51, and there's just like a single billboard that says got aliens.
I wish.
Yeah, spooky. And also Anne talking about like, oh, you're not gonna trick me, like the kid's voice saying mom. I feel like for years and years we were always like, I wouldn't go out into the woods if I heard a baby cry or anything like that. And I'm like, I don't know, I might investigate. Like that might be my end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because realistically, I might not run just uninhibited towards the noise, but I'm taking steps forward.
That's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, local urban legends. Many of them are real. They're urban legends for a reason. And actually, as I was driving here this morning, I saw an email came in last night about the Jersey Devil. So I feel like we have to revisit this again. This is a topic, that a lot of people have legends. It's easy
to forget that like urban legend that we research is also someone else's hometown.
Right. Hometown
like
haunts.
They live there. The urban legend is 2-minute drive from their house.
The Jersey Devil lives in your backyard,
Right.
Wild. So we'll revisit this topic. So if you have stories, even if you have stories pertaining to any topic, please email them to us at twogirlsoneghost@gmail.com. We want to read them. We want to read all of them. Even if we've covered the topic before, we'll revisit it or find a way to include it in future episodes. You can join us on Patreon to get episodes 1 week early and ad-free, plus bonus content, which you can get all of that stuff on like Apple subscriptions or the YouTube. But Patreon has a lot more. Like you can join us live every Tuesday to share your ghost stories with us live. You get a free sticker. You get witch class, book club, and so many other things. So join us over there.
Thank you to Jamie Ryan, who edits and produces our podcast.
And thanks to all of you.
And we will see you on the other side.
Very spooky.